Your gift might be playing melodies on the piano, or maybe your gift might be singing pretty like a sparrow. Or maybe you can talk to people, make them feel good inside. Or maybe you're an actress making people laugh or cry. Whatever it might be, show the world so we can see. You got to shine, spread your wings and fly. Show the world just how you shine. Claim your gift and don't deny. Sometimes you got to move on, show the world what's going on. Whatever it might be, show the world so we can see. You might be a leader, teaching people to be bold. Or you could be a runner, racing to get that gold. Or sometimes you might make mistakes and give your gift up. RFK said, I dream of things that never were and ask why not. Whatever it might be, show the world so we can see. You got to shine, spread your wings and fly. Show the world just how you shine. Claim your gift and don't deny. Sometimes you got to move on, show the world what's going on. Whatever it might be, show the world so we can see. Be free, see, be You got to shine, spread your wings and fly. Show the world just how you shine. Claim your gift and don't deny. Sometimes you got to move on, show the world what's going on. Whatever it might be, show the world so we can see.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver's online Sunday service. We are a loving, prospering community in the heart of Capitol Hill and online. And hey, we get it. 2021 has started out to be an interesting year to say the least. We know that with everything going on in the world, life can seem like a struggle. Here at CSL Denver, we want you to know that we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. Our names and phone numbers are on the website, www.csldenver.org, or if you have a specific prayer request, please email it to info@csldenver.org. And Reverend Elzia, along with our guest speakers, all of our practitioners, our music and service coordinators, want you to know how truly grateful we are for the online support that you have all given us. Thank you for watching our Sunday services, attending our online workshops and events, and for providing financial support so that we can keep our virtual doors wide open. We love you all and know that we'll be seeing you in the right and perfect time. Until then, we'll stay online with our Sunday services and do everything we can to bring you an inspiring experience. If you are interested in upcoming events and information, remember, we send out a weekly newsletter. Just head over to the website, csldenver.org, and sign up for the newsletter. We only send one per week and promise not to slam your inbox. You're also welcome to send an email to us, info@csldenver.org, and request to be put on the mailing list. Speaking of upcoming events, on Sunday, March 14th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time, our very own practitioner Tim Hancock will be facilitating a workshop on prayer or meditation via Zoom. If you're interested, please send an email to info@csldenver.org requesting to be put on the class list, and we'll send you a Zoom invitation as we get closer to March 14th. And here's a quick message from our friends over at the New Thought Media Network about a program Reverend Elzia is involved with. Hey folks, and remember, this week we're having our usual Zoom virtual fellowship right after service. If you haven't already received an email this morning, please send an email to info@csldenver.org and request a Zoom invitation. We'll make sure you get the invitation as quick as we can. Please join us. We'd love to say hi, catch up, and connect immediately following today's service in our Zoom virtual fellowship. All right, that's about all the time we've got for announcements today. Let's get back into the music with more by Freddie Rodriguez Jr.
Be free, truth will set you free. Be free, the truth will set you free. God cannot be bound, enslaved or imprisoned. Freedom is our right, divine way of living. Be free, the truth will set you free. Be free, the truth will set you free. As the river flows, swim with the water, 'cause God is letting know freedom is our power. Be free, the truth will set you free. Be free, the truth will set you free. The soul is pure, the music flows free. Be free, the truth will set you free. Be free, the truth will set you free. Truth will set you free. Be free, the truth will set you free. Be free, the truth will set you free. Be free, the truth will set you free. Free. The truth will set you free.
Thank you, Freddie. Good morning. My name's Tim Hancock. I'm a practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living Denver. And I invite you to join me for prayer. I invite you to close your eyes and move into the oneness that is the divine presence within each and every one of us, that divine creator of all, of the winter, the summer, the fall, and the spring, the balance of the seasons, that divine creator of the balance of our lives, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, the everything. As we move in today, we enjoy the experience of the one presence within all of us. We allow that presence to permeate in, through, and around all of us, bringing joy and love and compassion to all that we come in contact with today. And we absolutely know we are blessed, just as we know that this service is blessed. This service is blessed by the music of Freddie Rodriguez, by the technical support of Diego and the message of Robert, and blessed by our consciousness of our minister, Reverend Elzia. And also we know that the reading is blessed and that all is good, for all is God. And so it is. And our reading today comes from the book Change Me Prayers by Tasha Silver, and it's in section 55, untitled An Unholy Scam. The divine made you as a holy expression of love exactly as you are. But many get told they need to become worthy of love from other humans or even from God. However, trees, grass, seashells, kittens, dragon lizards, spider monkeys, Pomeranians, chipmunks, and just about anyone and anything besides the deluded, brainwashed human do not feel this way. Sense a scam? Well, here's the truth. You already are loved, and you already are worthy. This is a central tenet of existence that is independent of age, race, gender, charisma, height, weight, bank account, sexual orientation, or astrological sign. Over time, the divine can reveal this if it is sincerely offered. So why the heck not? And she follows up with a prayer for this. Change me, divine beloved, into one who knows without question my own beauty, worthiness, and desirability. Let me remember constantly who I am, a spark of divinity, of love in a temporary human form. Awaken me from any traces of amnesia. May I always recall my true nature as radiant light. And from our founder, Ernest Holmes, in his book, This Thing Called Life. When you pray or affirm your good, close the door of your consciousness to everything which denies this good and state your needs. It boils down to this. Can we, in the midst of negative conditions, accept a greater good? If we can, we shall be complying with the law of life. We shall be given life a chance to work for us. And every day, you should probably say to yourself, my thoughts are radiant with the light of spirit. There is no darkness in my mind. I am directed by the spirit of wisdom. I am guided into right action, into happiness and success, because the light of spirit shines from the very center of my being. This light illuminates my path and makes straight the way before me. This light is God, the living Spirit Almighty. And so it is. And now let's get back to some more music from Freddie Rodriguez Jr. with a new song titled The Mystic Lives.
with God, I know you're one with God, you know we're one with God, we know the mystic lives within our hearts, invisible, we're one with God. The mystic lives within our hearts, invisible, yet powerful. I'm one with God, I know you're one with God, you know we're one with God, we know the mystic lives within our hearts, invisible, we're one with God. The mystic lives within our hearts, invisible, yet powerful. I know. You know, we know the mystic lives within our hearts, invisible, we're one with God. The mystic lives within our souls, invisible, powerful. The mystic lives within our hearts, invisible, we're one with God. The mystic lives within our hearts, invisible, we're one with God. We know.
Oh, oh, thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Freddie, for that. You know, folks, it is always a pleasure when there's a new piece of music by Freddie Rodriguez Jr. in the house and in the world, and it fits perfectly with what we're talking about here today. So if you're new to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver, welcome. My name's Reverend Robert Brzezinski. I realized this morning I've been hanging out around here off and on for a number of years, but over the last year, pretty consistently, and have had the pleasure to provide you all with a number of talks over the last year. And it's wonderful to be back with you and add this next piece to what this idea is around how we are creating a world that works for everyone. The Centers for Spiritual Living Denver follows with the Centers for Spiritual Living larger annual talk theme. And if you weren't aware of this, the ministers, we all get together and there's a group that puts together these ideas and provides us with some quotes. And so if you're out on the internet this weekend, you're going to see a lot of different presentations under the title The Infinite Invisible. And in some of those regards, you'll hear some quotes that are very, very similar. You'll hear the exact same quotes in many cases. And I'm going to use a couple of those here today as well. But I'm also going to take a little bit of a detour from what some of these other groups are talking about. You know, it is February and it is Valentine's Day, and it would be remiss of me not to send a Valentine wish to everyone out there. And I don't think, I definitely didn't want to hear another talk on the various types of love, Eros love and agape love and romantic love. And this topic today, however, this infinite invisible, Well, at any point in time, you can substitute the word love. Anywhere I might say the word God or the invisible or the infinite or the absolute, we can easily institute or substitute the word God as well. And so I think that even though we may not look like we're talking about Valentine's Day today, I do believe there is a presence and essence of love running through all of that. So today, what we are going to look at is what happens when humanity as a whole, as everyone on the planet, awakens to love. You know, in Centers for Spiritual Living, we talk about a lot about a world that we envision, a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. And in that same vein, we talk about supporting or awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. One of the things I believe is that if we're going to do all of that, number one, we've got to be doing it together. Number two, we're going to have to tap into and learn things and tap into things that we may never have known before or may never have come to notice before. So what I do want us to know, Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, shared this quote: "Love is the sole impulse for creation, and the person who does not have it as the greatest incentive in his or her life has never developed the real creative instinct. No one can swing out into the universe without love, for the whole universe is based upon it." And so, yes, we are taking love and we are taking this idea of the infinite invisible, and we're going to add a piece of mysticism. And in that, I believe we are on this journey of creating a world that works better for everyone. So, you know, this word mystic, I want to bring that in today. We're going to introduce you today to a few modern mystics. Some you may already know, one you may not. But when you think about what a mystic is, what comes to mind? Perhaps this image. Perhaps this represents the mystic. Others see the mystic here. And still others see the mystic here. Now, if you're laughing, that's okay. But the blue alien mystic is like the real thing. The universe is mental. Well, I tend towards what Ernest Holmes said. And Ernest said that a mystic is one who intuitively perceives truth without mental process and arrives at a spiritual realization. Now, remember, in our form of affirmative prayer, when we talk about spiritual realization, that's our third step of treatment, recognizing a truth and being open to a revelation of truth that maybe we hadn't quite recognized yet. So a mystic is one who intuitively perceives truth and without mental process arrives at a spiritual realization. Truth, it's the download. It's the divine download. Now, what I know also is that anyone who lives in close proximity to God, to the indwelling presence, has that ability to be a mystic. This isn't something special. And we have modern day mystics and we have people that we recognize as mystics, but I want you to remember at every turn today, this is within you as well. You have this ability to intuitively know the truth about whatever subject it may be without mental process. You have the ability to intuitively know the truth without having to think about it. And you can just let that lead you to a realization of spiritual truth. We study a number of modern mystics in this philosophy. As I was sharing before, Centers for Spiritual Living gives us a jumping off point, and this is one of those quotes you may see a lot today, all around the internet. In going within, we do not turn to our own spirituality or our own goodness or our own strength or our own knowledge, but we go within to unleash the infinite invisible. That's Joel Goldsmith, considered a modern day mystic. We go within to unleash the infinite invisible. That means that we have to be doing something That's an action step. Unleashing, that's an action verb. We're going to use the word, we're going to touch on the word action a lot today. Another modern mystic, Ernest Holmes. Our great religions have been given by a few who climbed the heights of spiritual vision and caught a fleeting glimpse of ultimate reality. Our great religions have been given by the few to the many. But what I'm here to tell you is we don't have to be the few anymore. The great impulsion of the future, what is coming forward, is not a handful of people handing down a religion, but the whole world coming together to lift up a spiritual understanding, a belief. This stuff about a world that works for everyone. Now, if you've hung out around Centers for Spiritual Living at all in almost the past decade, I would trust that at this point you have heard this term or this idea of creating a world that works for everyone. Reverend Elzia spoke about it last week. It was in his talk last week. A world that works for everyone. Well, if you haven't heard, let's do it this way. I want to introduce you to another modern day mystic. This is Sharif Abdullah. Sharif has written a fabulous book, Creating a World That Works for All. The title might sound familiar. And Sharif is the director of the Common Ways Institute and has dedicated his life and his work to inclusivity, to creating inclusion across communities. And one of the things Sharif says in this important book is that a world that works for all is not achievable without restructuring our priorities, attitudes, and our culture. We cannot tinker with this. The change must be fundamental, an evolutionary shift towards spiritual compassion and corresponding shifts in our actions. There's that action word again, folks. In short, a transformation of head, heart, and hand. We must work on ourselves first and then be prepared to do the work on our culture and institutions. Now, I also fully understand that if you're in this room right now, if you're watching this broadcast right now, there's a pretty good chance you've been doing your own work. There's a really good chance you've been doing your own work, that you have been called to this type of work, to this type of a community. And we have to be able to take it into action. What I know is that over the past year, it's been really tough to feel like we can take action. And what I know is, as a community and as a culture, we are at that point where we must embrace this idea of moving forward. And we will take action again. We will, I promise you. See, what I want us to remember in all of this, and I want to come back to Dr. Holmes, is that we're going to be called to take action, but we're only going to be able to take action based on what we already know. Holmes said it this way: it is through the teachings of the illumined that the spiritual universe reveals itself, imparting to us what we know about God, what we have directly experienced ourselves, and what we believe others have experienced is all we can know about God. So we teach that it's all God. We teach that God is everything and everywhere and every place and everything. So what we've experienced in the past couple of years, that all of it's been God. And we can only know what we have experienced or believe others have. And this is the work where practitioners come in. Because when I'm having a tough time believing that someone else has had an experience, believing that an experience is possible, then I get with someone who can remind me that the experience is possible, because they can believe it. All we need is one person to believe, and all is possible. Everything's possible. Now, so it comes down to, really, in so many ways, what is our direct experience? And what do we believe others have believed? I want to pull one of Reverend Z's famous quotes today, and if If he's watching, he's going to laugh and yell at me because I'm going to steal one of his quotes. I hear Z say this all the time. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Now, he got that from his father, but it lives today. And I want you to hear that. We're not telling you what we heard. We're telling you what we know. What we know through repetition, what we know through our spiritual practices. And ultimately, we must honor every journey. We must be in that place of honoring everyone's journey along this world of becoming. Let's turn to Holmes again real quick. All the great mystics have taught practically the same thing. They have all agreed that the soul is on the pathway of experience, that is, of self-discovery, and that every soul will ultimately reach its heavenly home. They have all agreed that one's life is to do with as one chooses, but that when one turns to the one, they will receive inspiration from on high. When we turn to face the one. Yes, we have the power to create chaos. Yes, there are those out there using that power to create chaos right now. There are those out there using the power in ways that appear to be less than beneficial towards this vision of creating a world that works for everyone. That's okay. Those are all appearances. Our job is to turn to the one and trust that we shall receive inspiration from on high. The highest inspiration possible. So everyone is assured to make it, to fulfill their life's mission, to do what they're here to do. Some are just going to take the long road. Some folks are going to take the long road by these limiting beliefs. However, we have this way. How will we have the ability to transform life on planet Earth? I know it sounds huge. It sounds massive. But we want to remember it's not us alone. It's not the 30, 40 people that show up here on Sundays. It's not the people that watch this broadcast. It is, and it's so many more. It's the oneness. It's all of us together because we are raising up a vibration, a consciousness that says we are in this together. We're creating a world that works for everyone. Reverend LZ and I talk a lot publicly about things like the global vision with CSL and Holmes is what we believe and the founding principles and the founding statements of this movement and in this philosophy. And long ago now, Holmes said this: we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. Take that in. You are a direct revelation of truth. You have the ability to directly be a revelation of truth when you tap into and use your intuitive and spiritual nature and live in close contact and intimate relationship with that indwelling presence. Here we are at our spiritual practices again. So we are here being called to really, I believe, evolve ourselves and therefore the consciousness of humanity. The infinite, invisible oneness emerging and revealing itself and evolving as our lives, one by one, individually, all of us collectively together. The Centers for Spiritual Living, in part, our global vision states, we see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle. That means everyone. No one left behind, no one missing, no one absent. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. There's that action word again. And action. We're being called to go out in the world and do what is ours to do. Now, again, I understand we've been doing it here online for a while, and it looks like we're going to continue to be doing this experience of spiritual community online for a while. But I want you to know I am so grateful that we have this. I am so grateful that we have our Zoom fellowship right after the service, right? Come join the Zoom fellowship. Come hang out. Be with the people who you know, not those of us that are on camera, those that are watching. Come hang out and be a part of this community, because Center for Spiritual Living Denver has been doing this a long time. You folks know how to do community action. You know how to do community involvement. I've seen it all the way back from the very beginning. For as long as I have known this community, and that goes back to 2007, 2008, you have understood how to be a part of your community, and that's not going to change. It's going to evolve, and you're here to be a part of it. So we do have a call to action this week, and I do have some questions I'd like you to consider this week. How are you in the midst of the transformation? In the head, in the heart, and in your hands. How are you being the transformation in this planet? Because when everyone is involved, when everyone is clear and aware and conscious and awake to how they are being called in the head, the heart, and the hands to serve this evolutionary transformation that we are up to our knees in, or more. It might be deeper. When everyone recognizes their involvement, then we really are creating a world that works for everyone. Then we are overcoming the limitations that Sharif sees. Second part of that call to action is go buy the book. Now, you don't hear me tell people that very often, but I think this is one of the most important reads of our time, and it was written back in 1999. So you're going to see things in this book and be like, oh, this has already happened. Yes. Oh, this is happening right now. Yes. The man hit it. He hit it straight on. He saw the future, and he's one of those few that saw it way before a lot of others. Check out what's happening, because you are being called, and you can try to ignore that call, but I trust you won't. I trust you're in to be a part of it all. The next part is we have a little bit of an affirmation, a little longer of an affirmation today. These are to paraphrase the words of Sharif Abdul, and I invite you to take these into your contemplations this week. I'm going to say them once, and then I know it's a little corny being online, but I'm going to ask you to say them a second time with me, and probably a third time as well. Daily, I set upon the work of transforming my life, so I may serve the transformation of culture and thus society. I give my head, heart, and hands to the deep work of cultural transformation. Together, we are creating a world that works for everyone and for all creation. If you would, please say that with me. Daily, I set upon the work of transforming my life, so I may serve the transformation of culture and thus society. I give my head, heart, and hands to the deep work of cultural transformation. Together, we are creating a world that works for everyone and for all creation. And if you would, please close your eyes and listen to these words. Daily, I set upon the work of transforming my life, so I may serve the transformation of culture and thus society. I give my head, heart, and hands to the deep work of cultural transformation. Together, we are creating a world that works for everyone and for all creation. And it is from that place that I turn within, turn to the stillness within, turn to the deep recognition of the oneness that is God's life, that is my life, that is your life, that is all life. The one power, presence, and intelligence that is forever taking on form and abandoning that form in order to take on new form. The one God that is the oneness that is right now the source and the supply of everything. of love and light and beauty, truth and health and wealth and well-being, prosperity, abundance. It's all God. And so I recognize God as having its life, creating its life through and as the lives of everyone, every furry creature, every creepy crawly creature, every flying creature, scaly creature, the alien creatures, the blue mystics and the Buddha mystics, the human mystics and the animal mystics. We are each a blessing unto creation, each a blessing unto this thing called life. And so I am in the midst of recognizing the revolution, the revelation, the realization that is God's life taking form on this planet as each and every one. And so I know that as we collectively, individually and collectively, as we each raise up our consciousness to say, yes, I shall serve. Yes, I am here as a divine conduit through which God reveals itself. As we do that in collective as the one, then there is this new revelation, this new vision, a world that works for everyone. We are being a part of the awakening where each and every one is awakening to their spiritual magnificence, awakening to themselves as the impulse of love, as the very vibration of love. Before we know the infinite invisible must be love, could be nothing other than love. We know the infinite invisible, the oneness, the God thing is always expressing itself perfectly, whole, complete, nothing missing, nothing absent. I am thrilled to overflowing to recognize that there is a massive transformation happening on planet Earth right now, a massive transformation of human consciousness, and what is coming into form, what is roaring itself, creating itself right now through the hands and the hearts and the minds and of each one of us, creating a new way of being on the planet, a new vision for human life, a new vision for life on planet Earth, of collaboration and cooperation, of co-creation, of love and light and beauty, a new way of creating all the different ways and aspects and things in our lives and opportunities before us, letting all that has been go so that we may experience the new, a vision, a demonstration of a world that works for everyone and for all creation. So I am in this moment just thrilled to be a witness to it, thrilled to be a part of it, thrilled to say, lend my voice, to lend my heart and my hands, to lend my everything to this great revelation of a vision. And I claim and I call for each that hears these words to join in this affirmation, to raise up your vibration of love and peace and be the mystic in the world, be the mystic in your life, be the revealer of truth, be the one that lives in indwelling close contact with the divine. For in that, we transform ourselves and transform our culture, our society, transform it all. I am in that place of absolute gratitude to serve as this conduit through which the word reveals itself this day. Most especially grateful to know that as I release this word into the law that must demonstrate, the law of the universe that must operate upon this word, I release this word and I let it be. I loose it into the law, I let go, and I let God be God. And if any word of this has resonated in any way, please join in an affirmation of truth as we say together. And so it is. And so it is. Hey, thank you everyone for being with us today. I want to make sure that you all know exactly how much we appreciate you being with us here at the Center for Spiritual Living Denver. And it is that time where we get a chance to share of our financial good and share our gifts and our tithes and our love offerings and our financial support with this amazing community. There's information on the screen. We've got a text to give number. You can send a check to the P.O. box if you like. You can log on to our website, csldenver.org, and click that button, whatever it might be. We got to find that affirmation now. Wherever it might be, however it might be for you, please, please, please go ahead and support this community. We've got great things coming, and we've got some big announcements coming, and it's all based around how you can be a part of this world and be a bigger service to this vision. So thank you. Thank you for your gifts, your tithes, your offerings. If you're with me, go ahead and take your gift in your hand, and we're going to say our giving affirmation together. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive. And so it is. Ah, thank you, dear ones.
And now we go into the announcements at the end of the service. And with all that's going on in the world these days, sometimes we need prayer and support. Here at CSL Denver, we want you to know that we are here for you to celebrate and hold the space for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. We'd love to pray with you. Our names and phone numbers are on our website at www.csl.org. Or if you have a prayer request, you may email it to info@csldenver.org. As mentioned in the beginning of our service, we are back to having our virtual fellowship on Zoom this morning. If you did not receive the Zoom invitation earlier, please send an email to info@csldenver.org and mention fellowship. We'll send you a Zoom invitation right away. We have the new event coming up on Sunday, March 14th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right after service. So mark your calendars. I will be facilitating a workshop on prayer or meditation via Zoom. We invite you to join us in exploring whatever prayer and meditation is and how to use both in your daily spiritual practice. A reminder that over on New Thought Media Network, they're offering Science of Mind and Spirit lecture series. It's on the Science of Mind textbook. It's happening on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and Reverend Elzia and Robert are a couple of the facilitators, along with other CSL ministers. And meanwhile, we affirm right here and right now that 2021 is blessed and perfect in all that it is. We love you. We miss you. Please take care of yourselves. And now back to the music of Freddie Rodriguez Jr.
Love comes in. Open up, love comes in. Open up, love comes in. Open up, love comes in. Just enough.